Welcome to the second series of Screencleaner, a magazine show about media broadly. I am Andrew Luke, or Andy Luke, and over the next 40 minutes, I'll be talking to YouTubers and streamers that I admire to find out what makes them tick in their brain magics. First though, let's consider one of the UK's YouTube juggernauts. No, not Mr. Beast, but that moniker does serve as a description for any of Reform. Reform are a far-right British mainstream posing political party who have succeeded through the use of clickbait. The house is on fire! Yes, that warmth under your feet isn't the result of your struggle over price gouging monolithic energy companies. No. It's arson and the Meg Grants did it. Reform UK's YouTube channel is called GB News. GB stands for god-awful bullshit, and the news part is more akin to a bunch of kids live-action role-playing as reporters.
Yeah, I remember that video. You guys were burning G.I. Joes and throwing rocks at cats.
It's bankrolled by sired by Cameron Sir Paul Marshall, who also owns a Spectator. Marshall pumped £10 million into KGBBs in 2020 to 2021, though it was already struggling a year later. Like his pal, Fartage, Marshall's partner is a foreigner, a French-Hungarian wife, which makes his xenophobia even more bizarre and hypocritical. Worth $875 million and a radical read extremist behind-the-scenes operator, he's not as savvy as he thinks he is. GB News continues to hemorrhage money as it props up the failed Tories of Reform. This last decade, it seems not a week hasn't gone by where a Reform councillor or politician wasn't exposed as a sex offender or fraudster, even while they're supported by Laura Kuenssberg, the first human to have a wasp grafted onto their face, or Fiona Bruce, Empress of the Draconia constellation. Marshall is a major funder of the exclusive London Holy Trinity Brompton churches and its lower grade revitalised churches rolling out en masse across British towns and cities. All this puts a new lens on GB News' Islamophobic crusade, that of a religious war, as well as the stench of a cult hiding behind populism. Many Reform GBN figures are larger than life, living embodiments of clickbait. A sycophantic, obsequious millionaire Jim Davidson tribute act, Baron Silas Greenback off of Danger Mouse, Tom Skinner, QT's £2,000 plant, Cage Fighter, 30 pence, D-list vigilante, The Tube, sulky plagiarism, Lonely Girl 41, God Awful, Panic Room Rosindell, Stealth Wank, Martin Branning and Maria Joseph, Channel 4's Shameless, Black Man and Blackface, Rent a Ghost, Danny Kruger in The Nightmare on Expenses Street, the reanimated but rotting corpse of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Sarah on Pochin. Like most Reform MPs, Pochin is a defector from the Conservative Party. Following the Handforth Parish Council fracas, she took over Barry Burkle's position. You might think coming on after Burkle would be a gift horse, but Pochin managed not only to be suspended, but expelled from the council's Conservative group. On the plus side, quantum physicists are excited that her presence in the space-time proximity might offer the best explanation for the unintelligible sounds on Alex Brereton's camera.
We're trying to have a Teams meeting, you fool.
Since then, Pochin hasn't really been off the hate bait remarks. These occur most frequently when the Autocue breaks down at a public speaking event. In her case, a pubic speaking event.
We were
were talking about the reformed tartan then, weren't we, whilst I'm just waiting for my autocue. And I really wanted to come on in a reformed tartan burqa.
So I felt I should reach out and offer my services.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, no problem. How's your day going?
Yeah, not too bad.
That's good. That's good. So my name's Joe Whitbread, and I represent TNT, True Nation Teleprompters. We stock a wide variety of autocues, and uniquely they can be pre-programmed with factory set or personal custom messages, and you can add in jokes or even something a bit edgy against the disabled, the Jews, blacks, gypsies, Chinese, Italians. You can insult over 100 religions and more world countries. I just wondered if Sarah might be interested in this opportunity.
Take care, bye.
There's plenty of better content creators out there, politically active and engaging, that don't assume their audiences are drilling morons fit for robbing. I spoke to a few to find out how audio-visual production is professionally made. Take note of Empress of Draconia.
I'm Kevin Logan. You can find me as Kevin Logan on YouTube and Twitch, but you shouldn't, because I'm terrible at this.
How often do you stream, and what is the content of your streams?
I stream probably on average, 4 or 5 times a week, something like that. The schedule, though, is patchy at best. And I do, I suppose, a combination of political analysis and reaction content, along with some kind of, palate cleansing slop, some chicken soup for my tortured soul, I suppose.
How do you prepare for your stream in terms of research, structure? Is there a lot of it that's just sort of improv based on suggestions from your community?
Preparation is sort of, in a sense, intensive, but also not remotely intensive, in that I watch the news avidly. I read both current affairs and historical stuff and all the rest of it. But that's what I would be doing anyway. So it's sort of quite time consuming, but it's the thing I like to consume my time with. So it doesn't interest, or it doesn't sort of bother me that particularly. But I do preparation in the form of that so that I can give, whatever sliver of political analysis I can to a situation. And in terms of the actual content, I obviously pick up on things myself. There are obviously big news stories that happen at any given time that you sort of have to talk about almost. And then I have in my sort of community Discord, I have a stream suggestion folder that people throw ideas into, and they often inspire me to do some of the more silly or esoteric elements of my show.
My name's, as I say, Daily Blase. That's my channel name. My name's Darren, and what I basically do is I do all sorts of things, political and UK politics, because I just always found it fascinating growing up.
Darren, your pieces are really, really good and short, and they look into House of Commons, Parliament, select committees. And so can you tell me a bit about how you structure your program? Is it by the week or one day at a time? Do you script or improv or a hybrid of the two?
If a lot of the times it's a bit of, if I'm doing me a little bit of an intro, a little bit of an outro, it's if there's names I'm not sure about, I'll just write them down in bullet points, and I'll generally write a little something so I don't go off topic, because sometimes you can have an idea what you want to say, and then you start wandering off onto another topic, and that's when you lose the room. So I'll have a little, how can I put it? I won't say it's a script. I would just say what I want to say, and I'll just ad-lib it from there. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I try and keep it as brief as I possibly can, because you don't want to lose the room, do you?
Okay, my name's Katie Marshall. It's all lowercase, Katie Marshall 4340 on YouTube, or Madcat79 Scotty I on Twitch.
you stream about 5 days a week, thereabouts, and it's a bit unusual.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a night bird, right?
I am indeed, yes. I usually stream after 10, probably between 11 and midnight for 3 or 4 hours a night, depending on how I'm feeling, unless there's a lot that's been happening, which does keep happening. And I might go for like 4 or 5. I'm building myself up towards covering the Holyrood elections, which is 7th of May. So I'm trying to build up my tolerance to stream for like 7 hours plus.
Katie, can I ask you about how you prepare for your sessions? Like, how do you choose content? Where do you research?
I've got, as you said, I've got a very supportive community, and they post things in my Discord that I cover. There's 3 main ones, my 2 main mods, and a couple of other followers on my Discord who post things who they think I might be interested in and expand on my. See, I've been doing a lot of more political content, basically watching this Labour government fall flat on its face or do absolute horrible politics. So being able to do that and show that side of the very political, obviously. So, and being able to do that is quite good. And I do my own research. I've got, I check the news, I check other channels that I react to and stuff like that to either give a Scottish perspective, saying it's slightly different up here because this is a devolved power, or this is reserved, which we should have up here. So there's lots of different things that I do. I've got 3 notebooks sitting within arm's reach of me, and I write down different topics that I research to talk about, and I invite people onto my channel, which is good as well.
So it's health, disability, benefit issues.
Benefits, yeah. And being able to explain to everyone that my benefit, the one that I receive, is devolved, so the Scottish Government give me that one and do the administration for my benefit up here. The other part of the money that comes into our household is universal credit, which is still the Department of Work and Pensions, which is the UK-wide one. Kind of worried about that. I do not trust Pat McFadden. So my benefit is relatively safe, and it's going to be going up in April like it does every year with inflation. But I'm still panicked about what could happen to the main amount of money that comes into this household. So I'll be explaining that to everyone, what might happen with Pat McFadden and the Department of Work and Pensions if that changes. So that's my main focus. It's going to be happening between now and the start of the new tax year. And being able to educate people like that and advise them, or just basically show them what's happening, especially in social security and any sort of health policies that health's devolved again. So I concentrate on what's happening with NHS Scotland as well, and what's happening health-wise down in England, because quite a lot of my community are English-based. There's a few Scottish people as well, don't worry. And so explaining, oh no, that's different up here because health's devolved. I don't know why you're doing that to the people of England. Horrible. And I explain how they could be making things a little bit better down in England. Not that West Streeting can hear me.
Hi, my name's David McGuinness. We're on the Two Davies YouTube channel, and in the mornings I do a newspaper headline review programme, and then the Monday and Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, myself and the other David Milligan, we do our current affairs and political chat programme.
So, Davey, we've often talked behind the scenes about how you prepare for your stream, the research you pour in, the structure. Could you talk a bit more about that?
In the mornings, of course, I can only get up early and look at the papers, read the stories behind the headline, and then give an opinion on it. Generally quite strong, actually. But in the afternoons, when we do the Two David current affairs programme, we specifically pick 10 subjects, and we go away and research them, and then we talk about the stories, and we try and make our way through as many of the 10 of them as we can. But because of looking at comments sometimes, or just the way that David and I interact and get into a subject and segues off that subject into other subjects, then we very seldom make it to item number 10 on a scripted programme, what's supposed to be semi-scripted. So, as you know, I have a notebook where I take all the bullet points from the subject we're covering in that particular segment of the programme. And David will just wander off down a rabbit hole, as you're aware. So that's how it's structured. And prior to going live on a Monday and a Thursday afternoon, David comes into the studio an hour before the programme, and we discuss the stories that we're going to discuss, and make sure we have them in the order that they should be taken in. We like to start the programme with 5 specifically Scottish political stories from the Scottish political scene. And then, of course, because we're part of this United Kingdom, we then broaden out into other political stories from the rest of the UK. Normally, Westminster's dominant because that is the main parliament. So that's how it's done. That's how it's structured.
I'm Lefty from My Left Eye, and we stream pretty regularly, a few times a week. And we have a regular Sunday slot, and we have The Brews at 10 live streams, which is 10 p.m. on sporadic weekdays. But we do a regular one with PMQs when that's on as well. Keep up with current events. We'll do the odd sort of historical look-back episode. But just, what's in the news, just generally, the channel keeps an eye on the US government, on the UK government, of course, and the situation in the Middle East. So we're developing stories coming out there, focusing on the latest news, but also the way that it's being reported is one thing as well, because we really don't trust the media in this country. So a lot of it is about that. If we notice that they are maybe misrepresenting a story, then we might decide to go with the way it's being reported as opposed to the actual story itself. But we're certainly not short of content at the moment in this crazy world, Andrew. That's for sure. So if something jumps out, we might sort of decide to do an episode. Most of our episodes, videos, that is, are generally under 10 minutes long. Or we might decide if we want to sort of put it out to debate and get feedback on it in real time, then we'll put it on a live stream. So yeah, we always try and keep our finger on the pulse, as it were. But just whatever news has landed, we try and get it out in good time while it's still hot. So that's pretty much how we choose everything. We'll sort of go through social media or other sources that we've got to try and look for clips, snippets, and then kick it off from there, really. So it's usually a fairly quick process because we're doing it about current events.
West Streeting is not to blame for burning those ambulances. Lancashire's potholes cost 47 million, but Reform prefer gravity. What's the cost of lasers? Reform or Begsby Droog Deadwood eye pop-outs. Previously on PMQs. I'll ask the questions. It's a legal bauble. I'll around the clock tonight. And
renewables? The
twat. Funnier than I think. All this legal stuff. Shut up, bitch, man. How about legal? Chain of command. It's not my job. Read the standing orders.
energy price.
Hoosey juicy phony floozy. Ha, she can't even think about Semite Gate. War criminals and price gougers back me on this. They did it first. We didn't join the war. Mr. Speaker, I can repeat my questions more times than he can his answers. We haven't left the recap yet. How come the foreigners can drill? Haberdash, clog, rabbit, function, slip, gimbal, butter, butter, butter. And now the conclusion. Dick. Bills are coming down. Down. Next time. And going over there. And there. He eats, he bites, he sucks, he rubs, he hurts, he frolics. Chant, chant, like you're in, the Kool-Aid, cult. You've been streaming quite a while now. Can you remember what inspired you to stream and also to continue streaming?
Laziness and boredom, I suppose. I used to do sort of prepared content on YouTube, and I found that the editing process for that enormously it's soul destroying, and streaming seemed like an appropriate avenue for me because you get to do the fun bit of it, which is like the filming and the jokes and the silliness, without having to edit anything, because editing is literally anathema to my existence.
When it came to the time of COVID, I needed basically something to do, because for the simple reason, I'm going to be stuck in these four walls, and I needed a bit of an outlet to, keep my mind occupied. So that's what I basically started to do, just for a bit of fun, and I never really thought I'd take it any further, but here I am today, still doing what I'm doing.
It was actually my husband that suggested doing this because our politics differ slightly, to say the least. And he said, right, if you think you can actually reach people and say, it's different up here, it's good ideas to do this. And I thought, yeah, sod it, I will do this. And I've been affiliate for 2 years. I've been streaming for nearly 3. So I thought, yes, sod it, I'll do it. And I got my setup. It's kind of changed over the years.
Just do it.
He thought, yeah, I'm fed up just listening to you. So thank you, darling. Much appreciation for giving me the boot up the backside to do this. So I'm really enjoying it, being able to reach out to people and educate them, things like that. It's great. Mm-hmm.
I was prompted by the people who I worked with as an activist, really. What happened was, I used to post pictures of my lunch, believe it or not, for different locations around Scotland. And because I was an activist in the independence movement, an artist from Glasgow was encouraging me after I did a single stream, because I'd parked outside a place called Sense Scotland. And I'd went in there, and the government were announcing cuts to disability benefits. And when I went in there, I used to stop there because you didn't get a takeaway. They had a real great kitchen, and the money all went towards their charity. So it was brilliant. Well, I went in this day, and the parents, you could actually cut the fear in the place with a knife. There were people there with disability cards that were going to lose them and things like that, lose their mobility and things like that. And going in there, it was tense. So I came out and made a video where I was talking about the heartache and pain that these people were going through because of that bloody Tory government. And then I was contacted by this artist friend of mine, Michael Larkin, wee Skibbles, he's known as here in Scotland. And he says, you should do that more often. And I was thinking about it, and I was over in Leith, at Leith Docks, having my lunch again. And a question came on the radio for BBC Radio Scotland's lunchtime programme. And I just went, okay, time to open my gob. So I made another live stream. And we have a character here in Scotland called IndyCar Gordon. He's a driving instructor. And a friend of mine, Marion Plunkett, dubbed me Indy Truck Davy because I was in the truck when I was broadcasting. And it's been like that ever since. We moved to YouTube because Facebook shut me down when Nick Clegg took over. Because I was reaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people on Facebook doing these videos at 10:30 in the morning. Thousands. I even had one go viral during the pandemic. But it just went through there. But that's what made me start.
So notably, your stream, you've got a really massive and supportive follower base, which could bring you lots of money, but you are fully non-profit about it. There's a lot of funds generated that go to Scottish food banks. And so presumably that's a really great reason to keep doing it, and that you have that community who supports you in other ways as well.
Well, the average programme, as you know, for a channel our size, which is only 3,600 subscribers, the average live is about 150 to 160 from start to finish. That's an amazing amount of people. And they're very generous people, as you know. yourself included, we do intend to drop in, and you in Northern Ireland, and make a donation to a food bank there. We do intend to drop into Wales and make a donation there, because we have had funds from both these places. Now, we have already visited England because we've got viewers in England who send us money as well for food banks. So we did the North Berwick, which is part of England. We did the food bank there. We're probably going to do one in Cumbria as well. And we're definitely going to come to Northern Ireland and to Wales. But it's a matter of discussing when we get back into the bigger areas of Scotland and out of the rural places where they really need the money bad. When we get back to the city, we'll do 2 within a city and then 1 to Northern Ireland. 2 within the city, 1 to Wales. And that's how we'll do it.
I was previously working on another channel with a friend. He moved out of the country. It sort of put a stop to that. I did have My Left Eye as a sort of little side project, uploading shorts, things like that. And then I got into it a lot more. But what really sort of inspires me is just my general passion, really, as a socialist, a lifelong socialist, also political and environmental campaigner. I'm involved with groups like Take Back Barron, Youth Demand at the moment, previously Just Stop Oil. Should have mentioned Defend Our Juries there as well, of course. But yeah, as long as there's a fight out there to be fought, then I want to be right there on the front lines, I guess, and allow other people to be able to see what it's like on the front lines, because we don't mind, getting our hands dirty in the nitty-gritty of things. And it's just really spreading the word, spreading the message, also reassuring people, that they're not alone, which is easy to slip into feeling at the moment, with the dominance of the right wing in terms of politics. But I think we're at a moment in history where things are turning around, where things could be switching to something more hopeful. One of the slogans, that Zach Polanski's been putting about a lot recently, of course, the hope not hate message. Obviously, Jeremy Corbyn's put out similar messages like that in the past. And I think that's seriously the way that we're going. And I don't think I'm under any disillusion in saying that. You look at the polls, you look at the popularity of the Green Party since Polanski took over. There is a hunger for socialism out there, not just in the UK, but across the world as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just very passionate in getting involved with that and sort of spreading that message as well. And one of the things I especially like is hearing feedback, comments on live streams, things like this, just getting to know other people's opinions as well. And being a YouTuber is a great way to do that, often in real time. I like a lot of the chats and or debates that we get into on live streams. So yeah, it comes from a personal passion with a background in activism, as well as political academic background, as well as sociology. So it stemmed from that. I've never stopped, and I've got no intentions to. And
these days, there's a low bar on entry to self-publishing. It's fairly easy to get the tech set up. I reached out to Reform Party ghoul Matt Goodwin to talk over his experiences as a publisher.
Hi, Matt. You recently announced your self-published book, Suicide as an Alert Word Britain, reached the Amazon top 3. I'm phoning to offer you a distribution deal. My agency specialises in self-published novels, which features contributions by artificial intelligence. In keeping with your theme, we can promote you alongside other words which have been generated by machine learning. For example, dodo, colnacanth, pterodactyl, parasiticus, onomatopoeia, aardvark, xenophobe, millionaire, crazy, doolally, Gorton, and Denton. At Empire Agents, we recruit migrant workers, not those on asylum programs or naturalised British citizens, but genuine illegal, as declared by courts immigrants, and we equip them with body-worn advertising boards. We can have them walk around Piccadilly Circus with the title of your book for only £500 per worker. Please give us a call back and consider your level of interest. Thank you. Or I'm happy to discuss the issue now. Hello, I am hoping to reach Matt Goodwin, Reform Party, not an MP. I mean, I'm not sure I have the right number. Whose number says this is an Isle of Man number? And that couldn't be right because the Isle of Man is Crown dependency. And Matt Goodwin, Reform, not an MP, is all about Crown supremacy. I mean, do I have the right number? Okay, Matt, you have my number. You can call me back in your own time. What sort of software do you use when you're putting together your stuff? What goes on behind the scenes?
I'm Streamlabs Ultra as my program that I stream through, essentially. So Streamlabs Ultra, I've got an HP laptop plus a cooler, because these HPs do have a tendency to heat up rather quickly, so I need to keep it cool. I can't even remember the name. I've just got a standard microphone. It's
usually a much better camera, but you're multitasking, you're recharging different things, and you have a Discord community that's quite supportive. Seems to be.
I do. Yes, my Discord's amazing. Numpty women.
You're not really a techie. What software do you use for your stream on cameras, mics?
We use Nexico cameras. I have got a podcast mic, which also works as a speaker. So if I was taking phone calls, it could come through the mic. The call would come through the mic at me and I would be speaking back to the mic. It's quite clever. And it's not an expensive piece of equipment. And we use Restream as the streaming service because it gives you access up to 30 odd social media platforms. But we only need 2 because our program only goes out in 2 platforms. It could go out in more, but can it be? Our audience is specifically on YouTube and on Facebook. Simple as that. Facebook's where we built the audience base. So we just use it.
Well, for videos, we edit with, we're not exactly high tech here. We do have some upgrades coming up. But at the moment, actually, everyone's on laptops. So we use VSDC, which is just a basic editor. But we will be using DaVinci, I think, once we upgrade, because I've played about with that before and I really like it. Yeah, we do like the inserts and adding a bit of comedy just so it doesn't end up, it's not all doom scrolling, as we say. With live streams, we use open broadcast software, OBS. Other people have suggested I try Streamlabs, which we're going to be having a dabble with once we upgrade to PC. Cheap and cheerful though. We do like a laugh, as we're going through all the doom and gloom. Yeah. With filming of protests and things that we do, that's all just shot on phones. That's just done on our phones as we're on the scene at the time.
OBS or OBS Streamlabs, I should say. Yeah, basic. It's free. It's very easy, so I just go with that. Basically, I'm so low tech that basically, unless you can train a monkey to use it, I'm fucked. So I basically just use basic OBS. Yeah.
But you've mastered OBS. That's like a cut above what I'm capable of.
Well, I wouldn't say mastered. It's like a shower setting. Once you've got one that works, you just stick with it. Because if you touch it, it's going to be scalding or freezing. Or like on your washing machine, I've got 2 settings. One for like whites and then one for coloured clothing. And that's it. I don't touch any other buttons. It's got a million options and I'm not fucking touching any of them because it'll break.
On and hopefully it switches itself off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as it doesn't break and my clothes are roughly clean, then I'll just go with that,
I've noticed you use Restream as well, which I've started using. I've just found some people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'd like to say I started on YouTube, and I indeed started streaming on YouTube before I even knew that Twitch existed. I suppose it probably did, but I wasn't aware of it until actually H Bomber Guy did his infamous million-hour-long charity stream thing, and then I was like, I'll give Twitch a go. But then I had to run 2 streams, and that's just horrible for the bandwidth. So you go onto Restream, and it essentially gives you 2 streams through one service, and it's free. like you can pay for the extra, but I don't know what you get for that. So I just use the free version of it, and it's very simple. You just plug in the stream key and away you go.
I tend to use OBS. I find it better, because like they've got the stuff, to make the microphone, and you can. It's got the software to help deal with make it you sound more aesthetic, I suppose you could say, more pleasing. Because if you don't get it right, you can look the best on screen, but if it sounds horrendous, people are going to switch off. And I found the software that they've got in there, and I've got one or two others that I can use. So I basically tend to use OBS.
So a little dig at my audio quality. Goodness, you're not the first.
No.
Do you use a video editor?
I use a mixture of two for different reasons. I use DaVinci Resolve, the free version, and then there's CapCut, which is the free version. Because if I've got something that's a little bit more long term, there's a lovely little bit of software on CapCut which it transcribes it, and then you can use that as a fantastic tool to edit. Because then that just cuts down the time, because like if you made a load of mistakes and if I try to cut them down in, say, DaVinci Resolve, it's going to take me yonks. Whereas with CapCut, it's not as big a software as CapCut, but it's got a great tool where you just transcribe it and you can just use your mouse, go through all the reading and cut all the dead space and cut all the words, all the mistakes, and it can usually take you tops 10-15 minutes.
I use Shotcut when I'm doing Screencleaner, which is again free, open source. I found it was a bit of a learning curve, but my problem was I wanted to do everything when all I really needed was cut and ripple delete. How about you? Did you find much of a learning curve on your stuff?
Not. I find DaVinci Resolve was and still is a bit of a steep learning curve, but when it comes to CapCut, it's quite simple. It's really user friendly. So if you were ever wanting to use a software, like you're talking of cutting and editing, I would strongly suggest CapCut, because there is a transcribe. You just press on the video that you've got and press your right click on your mouse and you'll see the transcribe. Press transcribe and it'll transcribe it for you. Everything that's said and any mistakes that you feel you have to cut, and it'll cut out the dead space as well. It's just a brilliant little tool.
And of course, you want to be organised around your office, soundproofed with a safe environment, and no imminent closure or note of eviction. Reform MP Andrew Rosindell fell foul of this last week. Working from an office in Conservative Party HQ several months after his defection to Reform, he arrived one day to find himself locked out.
Nope. I'm really concerned about Andrew because he's got his panic room to get to.
Hello?
Hello, this is Brian Rutherford. I'm calling from the Rainbow Repossession Agency. When you left the Conservative Party for Reform, we gave you 3 months' notice to leave your office. You failed to comply, and to this end, we've had our team of racially diverse staff change the locks, secure the filing cabinet, work computer, and your equipment, which is Conservative Party property. This includes your downloaded playlist of videos from the Liz Truss show, your Union flag waistcoat, and gay porn posters of Augustus Pinochet and Tommy Robinson. You do not have to do anything at this time, but it might help you to secure your mouth, which is a permanent panic room.
My YouTube viewing isn't all politics, so I watch far too many reaction videos and have a love-hate relationship with them. Whereas political reactions have a unique voice and a valuable discourse and education, entertainment show reactions can vary, There's a sort of ethical pornography at play, imagining you're enjoying the show with the reactors sitting beside you, and at the end they'll talk to you and share their insights. And then there's the twats. Hi, I'm influencer Dinkledop and welcome to the second episode of Season 3 of One Piece. No, it's another episode of you reacting to One Piece. Don't slap your name on the IP. You're not working with Japanese artist Eiichiro Oda, telling tales of an action fantasy swashbuckler. There are reactors that trade on repackaging popular TV series with their edits to create sort of mini-sode. Often they don't offer commentary, just sit and laugh like morons. Or they react to a line from the original content by repeating it like a parrot.
He said or react to a line from the original content by repeating it like a parrot.
Cut that out, you girl.
He said, cut that out, you girl.
Cut that out, you girl.
He said, cut that out, you girl. He said, cut that out, you girl.
Lately, I've rather been enjoying the Bad Nerd show, Babylon 5 for the second time, which takes a reactor formula and spins it on its head. Hosts Jeff and Brent, whose first foray into the space epic was primarily long-form discussion, return with a combo of research, reaction, and reanalysis. It's a testament to B5's depth and longevity that repeated viewings work better. This allowed Jeff and Brent to, in their own words, explore the show's hidden messages and deeper meanings. 30 years ago this week, space opera Babylon 5 aired the episode Severe Dreams, netting the 1997 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. It was a conclusion to a trilogy that took the concept of a UN in space and turned it on its head by focusing on the fight against fascism within its global political commentary. Envisaged as a novel for TV, Babylon 5 rarely went subtle with its metaphors. Showrunner J.M. Straczynski wrote action, philosophy, and Shakespearean dialogue to criticize depressingly modern ills of pandemics, genocide, slavery, and governmental coups. The rise of fascism on Earth in the 2250s was depicted through the Ministry of Truth, the Ministry of Peace, and the Night Watch, with representatives of those Trumpian agencies showing up to rattle Space City's cages. The creep story fed for 3 years. Alliances of appeasement with forces of genocide, challenges against local authorities by Earth Central, the arrest of shopkeepers. The Severe Dreams trilogy reinvents the Star Trek model by aggressively overturning it, along with the show's pitch line of a UN in space. Orders come from Earth's president that the city station is to be placed under martial law. Its command staff are to be arrested on manufactured charges and replaced. Meanwhile, other colonies in similar circumstances have risen up and declared independence and are met with deadly force.
Standing by, weapons on. Don't do it! We've got women and children down here. Don't do it! Omega 1, you are cleared for drop.
With the fleet of ships aggressively approaching, Bruce Boxleitner's Captain Sheridan faces a dreadful choice. Acquiesce or resist and be killed, along with thousands of individuals from a mix of societies. Bravely, he chooses the latter.
If it was just us, hey, he pays you money, he takes you chances, but it's not just us. It's like 250,000 people here and billions more out there counting on us. Now, I promised Delenn that we would draw a line against the darkness no matter the cost. Well, now we know the cost.
Granted, every 5 years some pop culture writer sounds off about how eerily prescient B5 was politically. B5's political foresight seems more relevant nowadays than ever. Faced with arrest, and know where to go, Sheridan's choice is in a sense one we all face when violent troubles impose upon our lives. Do we continue hoping resistance can be kept secret, that we'll be the lucky ones, even though the impinging authority has a record for the worst possible scenario? Get proactive in staying out of the way by emigrating. Maybe we'll get the VIP fast lane. Certainly we'll abandon people we claim to love to a worse fate. The trials of immigration are a recurring theme in Babylon 5, as well as how the authorities choose to frame that. Or there's a third option, to be part of the forced upon us final showdown. Do we bring out all our hidden assets to stop the common tyrant? If we don't succeed, it plunges everything we know into the end of. Maybe death. Maybe years of excruciating suffering. The number 3 pops up often in B5. Was, is, and will be. Your truth, my truth, and the truth in between. Light, dark, grey. Ragesh 3, Proxima 3, Epsilon 3. You may as well call it B3. It is key to the narrative's main storylines that binary choices are challenged by default. Wars of one side or the other are subverted when those caught in the middle rise up. In the words of Old Man Lorien, our point of view figures form a crucible to force the issue. That 2 opposing factions should take their domineering mechanisms and clear out to let the survivors find their own way free of persecution. This little speech by Sheridan and Delenn puts it well.
Order versus chaos. Choose one.
Yes, choose. But only from the choices you give us.
You're trying to force us to decide which of you is right. You're like a couple of parents arguing in front of their kids, manipulating them, trying to get them to take sides, not for their benefit, but for yours.
Babylon 5 is available to watch in various places from various places.
What advice would you give to somebody who's thinking of doing their own YouTubing or Twitch streaming?
I think that anybody who's starting out should certainly have at least a bit of an idea for the sort of format that they're on. Try and keep it consistent, especially with thumbnails and things like that, so that makes your content stand out more recognizable as your content as people are sort of scrolling through. But you might need to be prepared to dedicate, quite a bit of time to it. Sometimes people who get into this for the very first time, they don't realize how long it takes to edit or things like that. Even things that seem pretty straightforward, if you picture them in your head as content before you get into whatever it is, brainstorming or writing a script, whatever it is, just remember that the process itself might be a little bit longer than you thought. You're always fighting against the algorithm and millions of other uploaders, so try and put a bit of thought into your thumbnails and your titles a bit more. Maybe, again, create your own niche that stands out. If you're new to streaming, for example, basically double check that what you've got is up to scratch with how you can stream. Make sure that you're not constantly crashing because you're overloading the resolution or anything like that. When we were starting out, we just started to experiment with short, sort of snipping up bits of news programs and things like that and putting it together with a bit of commentary or whatnot. That might be a way that people want to sort of get in. It's a good way of picking up early subscribers as well, as opposed to doing just videos straight off. But of course, it's entirely up to you. But ultimately, you do have to be patient. We really appreciate the fact that we're coming up to 6,000 subscribers, considering the channel's only 2 years old. To be honest, weren't even sure it would ever get monetized ever. Things won't happen overnight, unless you catch lightning in a bottle with some, I don't know, exclusive footage of Keir Starmer getting in a fist fight with Donald Trump or something. I don't know. Just bear in mind, you've got to be patient. You've got to be methodical. Give things a chance. At least a little bit of a chance. One method for a while before you go changing things. If you change things up too much, that might put viewers off. It might not stick out so much on the algorithm.
I suppose it depends on what you want. If it's just a hobby, yeah, do it. You know, you'll really, really enjoy it. If you are thinking of trying to make money out of it, that's totally different, isn't it? Really, because you have to be more careful about what you pick and choose. Because, like, say if I was wanted to make money out of my channel, I wouldn't do a video about the political debate of a certain street in Westminster, deciding whether it should have a zebra crossing on there, because people are not going to watch it, are they? it's going to be a waste of time. It's got to be sort of like pick and choose a little bit, which I do tend to do nowadays, because I put a lot of effort into my videos. Because I think some people, when it comes to do political, they seem to think that there's some sort of the alternative to news, but not everybody goes on YouTube to look at what's happening in the news, do they, really?
Yeah,
usually
YouTube monetization is such a high bar. I think people don't know until they actually start, and they start looking at how statistics of views convert into earning, that it's a huge challenge. I mean, you yourself have an enormous following, but you aren't monetized.
I find politics, it's a little bit of feast or famine, isn't it? I suppose there'll be quiet times. I don't know if you've ever heard of a software called not a software. It's sort of like off the internet called vidIQ. What it basically does, if you align it with your channel, it will look at all your data and in your analytics and this and that and the other, and it will lay it all out for you, which videos do well for your channel and which ones don't. And what I tend to do is I tend to have a look at that, because it's about just short of £9 a month. And for what it is, I think it's good value for me, because it can lay it all down, tell you which ones are doing well for your channel, while other ones, either you can try and repackage it, or if it's died within the first 10, 15, 20 seconds, just put it down to just bad decision, and don't try and don't bother going on that subject again. And that's how I choose it. And I've noticed, when, like you mentioned, when it comes to the select committee meetings, they used to do very well, but not as well as much. I think the last one they did with Ed Miliband, and that just died on its arse.
Be yourself. Don't try and overthink it. Bring to the table what you're good at, and hopefully people will be interested in it. We're very lucky because we already had an audience based on Facebook, but more importantly, they already knew that the research that we did into the stuff was good quality research work. We didn't open our mouth on a subject without having done our background work first. So if we were broaching a new subject, we would have had our heads in the books for about a week to 2 weeks to get a handle on what it is we're going to speak about, what the main points of that particular topic or that particular industry or about that particular subject, and how it's been reflected by ourselves and the public in general. So Dave, just be yourself. There's nothing more interesting than you. As the presenter, you have got to be the most interesting thing, Andy. So be yourself.
I do try. Be yourself.
If it doesn't feel natural, don't put it out.
Have you any advice for anybody that's becoming new video producers, apart from don't do it, or streamers?
Well, ironically, I mean, obviously I'm quite a sarcastic bastard, but one of my pieces of advice would be the exact opposite of that, would be to just do it. I've said this before. I got into it because I felt like there needed to be more voices, and there can never be too many good, positive voices in the space because there are so many awful ones. So we need, like some pushback against it. So yeah, just try it and do it. If you've got something to say, literally all you need is a camera and an internet connection, and you can get it done. You know?
Just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter even particularly what you want to talk about. It doesn't have to even be overtly political necessarily, but just do it. It's a creative outlet, and like you'll have fun and you'll meet new people and create a community, and that's beautiful in of itself, even if it never becomes anything particularly, financially successful. Because don't start out with that endeavor, because ultimately there's so much luck that goes into it that you're essentially doing it for the love of it, and then maybe you might get paid. That's it.
There is a community out there for you. There's plenty of us who can actually help you set up if you want to be able to stream, or set up a Patreon, which is good as well. So being able to reach out at HKB1, literally, you don't necessarily need to do politics. You can do something else. You can do media. You can do cooking or anything like that. And being able to do that is amazing. So yeah, do it. It's great.
Just make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate about, really. I think that really helps. Just sort of try and use your passion. And don't be afraid of trying out new things, I guess. Push the boat out a bit. You might have inspiration from other channels, but, don't just try and be a cut and paste version or a sort of B-list version, whatever, of a different channel. Try and have your own thing and go in your own direction. Again, that'll help you stand out a little bit more as well. And be as interactive as you can with your viewers, because appreciating your viewers is really fundamental to helping channels grow. Try and respond to comments. Hopefully people will be getting lots of comments on the channel if you do get a viral or a semi-viral video, but do your best, at least just to say thanks or respond. That really helps. And if you want to build a community like we're doing on My Left Eye, then that could be a really important thing as well. And finally, collabs. Anyone else who's similar to you, don't have to be in the same area or country. If you might feel like reaching out to other channels, maybe getting involved in a project together or a video together, something like that, or something like we're doing right now, Andrew, things like this. So that just goes to show that reaching out to viewers and the community can help as well.
Israel illegal? Don't worry about Tony Blair Corps. Israel will be on side. Yes, West Street and charity. Oil, please. Will Trump beat Iran? Moscow hounds are always ready. Up yours, baby fascist. You want to go? You want to go, little girl? So bills won't go up. Ho, ho, hee, hee. I farted. Bills in space. Reformed French kissed Putin. Book club. Hate Superman's dog. Script preview. A bird in England's hand is worth two in England's bush, but England's Rolling Stone gathers no England's moss. Bullshitter. Reform leaving, but cameras aren't interested. Snell, monorail. Words move. I am the witch of Doyley Woods. Borag thong northlets. How come does Brexit damage bow down to Hitler? Fire, migraine, darling, twat. What's the DPP got to do with me? You're an enabler. Reform cut the baby. Stupid reform, baby. The PM hates women.
Could I thank her for...
Hey, how come nobody uses money? You ever notice that? That's all from Screencleaner this time. I'll be back next week with a Northern Ireland focus on the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, plus a day. Saturday at 7:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 CST. Thanks to all my contributors, patrons, subscribers, commenters. You can get early access to all my videos at patreon.com Andy Luke from just £1. Help train the algorithm by clicking all the relevant buttons with your mouse, then keyboard. Goodbye.